Howdy.
All right. Hello, folks. Welcome, folks, to episode 3 of working on Mike Rizzi's song themes. Sorry, we had to postpone, but stuff happens. I'm glad Mike could resume today. And
Me too.
yeah. Where should we start? Should we do a quick recap of do you want to maybe open up Jira and we can see what we've done?
Sure. I've got it
All right.
open.
You got it open? All right, let's switch over to it.
Okay.
There we go.
Here's our Jira. It's called Jira.txt. It's really the only Jira that I like.
Yep.
Oh, do we need to get rid of this?
Yeah, I've made a note of that.
Okay. So the one thing we didn't do is sort of, I guess we've got the stories that are on the Miro board.
Right.
And we're starting to have bifurcated information. I'm wondering if maybe, I don't know if you think it's worth streaming it, but I could do it after we're done today. Copy over, like, sort of have a section at the bottom,
The stories,
future features.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we
at high level.
I think we can do that off stream.
Sounds good. We could look at the Miro board. I would need to get the password.
I have it up so I can share it.
Okay, cool.
And so there we go. And so we're working more in the this area. Oops. No, stop moving stuff.
I think we were working on
this one.
Yeah. Oh, right. The double diamonds was our
double diamond, right?
indicator of story 1.
Yep.
Actually, maybe I'm going to put it right here. So visitor, you can't see, but I'm typing into Jira. Visitor searches for songs with one theme.
All right.
So that's our high level that we're working on right now. Do you think we need to go into more detail as far as like the context in which it's living, or we rely on folks looking at other streams? I mean, other recordings.
I think at this point we can rely on the fact that this is a database of songs and we're searching for themes. And if you want more, you can go see the playlist, and I'll post a link to the playlist.
Yeah.
So they can watch the earlier episodes.
Sounds good. So
yeah.
Oh, sorry, go.
I was going to say, so where are we at?
So we left off, we created a song searcher class that can search by theme, and we're doing the zombies.
Right.
So we got 0, find no songs. We got find a song that matches a single theme. So next is multiple. We also did, sorry, yeah, continue.
I was going to say, are our tests passing? I forget if we left a breadcrumb failing.
Let's find out. Or in all tests. And I moved this up to the upper right-hand corner.
Yep.
And see if that's less annoying.
Yep.
Yep, right. We're all passing.
Great.
And then we did some endpoint testing, returning an empty page.
Outside in, yep.
Yeah, outside in. Return the model saying there were no results. So where do you think's next bet? You think we should go back up into this area working in the model, or do you think it's
I think we should flesh out finish out the get endpoint up through returns model with a single song matching.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, Astrid, welcome. Nice to see you.
Woohoo! It does feel like Christmas. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we have returning the model saying there were no results. Let's take a look at the test, and then we'll move on to the generate HTML. So there we've got our model, and it has the attribute of empty search results, and that's true. All right. Do we have so we've got search returns search results view. So that returns the view. So is our next test that empty search results is false? Is that our next test?
That would seem to be the case. So we did no results, but we didn't really do. Well, here we've got HTML.
Here we have, yeah, I think we're missing a step.
I think so too.
Yeah. Hey, full. Sorry if that name is pronounceable. Welcome. Yeah, I think we need a middle test, which is, yeah, saying that there are results.
Single result, or do we?
I think it's just the opposite of there were no results, that there are results, at least based
results.
on what our attribute is.
Oh, we're doing the attribute thing. Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right. Let's write it.
The test. Yeah, let's write it.
I don't think you need me to navigate this part.
Hope not. Well, who knows? Oh, I've got to do my learn my keys. Yeah, thank you. Search returns model with song results. Or do we want to say?
I think we just want to say where search results not empty or something.
Well, we got here with no songs found attribute. Oh, but
yeah, I think we didn't update the test after we renamed our attribute.
So let's update that test name, and then that'll inform this one. Search result returns model with no songs with empty. Search results attribute. So that's an interesting design question. Do we want to just see if empty search results attribute is false? I guess we are trying to do or do we want to actually have some thing in the model?
Well, I think we want to start with, so what I tend to look for is if we've got something that's testing for a Boolean true or a Boolean false, we want to always have a test for something that's the opposite of that. Otherwise, what's the point?
Right.
I'm pondering the word attribute in that previous test. Is that too precise, or should we just say with empty search results? Because I feel like the attribute is almost a bit constraining.
It is constraining. I guess the one thing about, if we said with empty search results, though, wouldn't that imply we were looking? Well, no, that wouldn't. But the test we're about to write, it might have an interesting connotation.
I feel like we should drop the word attribute.
Yeah, I think so. I was just wanting to think it through.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back.
So this one, search returns model with song results. Now this is the part where it's
with non-empty search results. I mean, it is the opposite.
Right.
And you wrote song results here, and it was search results before. How do we feel about that?
I think search results. Okay. Yeah.
Even though the search results are songs.
Did we? I feel like we song search by theme, song themes controller. We're going to start getting into ubiquitous language problems, aren't we?
Well, one of our verbs that we put in the list was search. The sort of the noun that comes from that is that song results or songs like, I don't know that we need to really be too particular about that just yet. Yeah,
we could wait till it's more painful. But we are going to say search returns model with non-empty search results. Let's see if we use search up here. We did call it search results there too.
I think we've consistently called it search results.
Okay.
I think I'm okay with that, but
should we codify that in the ubiquitous language with a?
yeah.
Well, it's always the case that the let me pull that in, that ubiquitous language is a living language, so we could change it. So this would be a verb. We
Yeah,
have
so the verb is
search.
search, which results in nouns. So Astrid says, so the test tests for the attribute and not for no results found. Well, it tests for an attribute called empty search results.
Yeah, let me go back to the code so Astrid can see.
Yeah.
And we want this test.
Yeah.
So this one's is testing for an empty results attribute.
And so we particularly did not want to use the word no. That was a particular naming choice because it felt very weird to test for a negative Boolean, which is confusing. So that's why we explicitly called it empty search results as opposed to no results found or something. Hey, Sweetie.
Hey, Sweetie. So we were looking at the ubiquitous language. Do we need to? So we have search results. Do we have results as a noun? Do we need to add it? Or
we could put under nouns. I feel like it would almost make more sense to sort of attach it to the verb, like the output of the verb are these nouns. What do you think?
Search results. We're currently calling search results. Are you saying change this verb to?
So well, let me show you.
Why don't you type it? Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to escape out of it, otherwise I can't modify it.
Miro.
Concurrent change problem. So something like that.
Got it.
So just like we have sort of commands generate events, we have verbs generate nouns.
Right. Okay, that works for me.
I mean, we don't have, there's no standard. We can do whatever we want. If we don't like it, we can change it.
Yep. It is like a document that's easy to edit. Okay, so back to this. So now are we comfortable with non-empty search results? I can't think of a better way to say it though. Yeah, let's just stick with it.
I think that's fine. Let's not bite shed our names too much.
Yeah, agreed.
Because it's very easy for us to do so.
Okay, we want a song themes controller with one song. We want a model. We want a sing themes controller calling theme search with the model. And then we want to assert that it is false. But the setup is wrong. We want it with no songs.
Yeah, search returns model with search results. Well, not yet. It's really not returning the results yet.
That's why
it's not actually returning the results. It's just turning, are there results?
Right.
We will need to get there. So this brings up an interesting. Go ahead.
Sure, and that was part of the reason. Originally, we had this term here, attribute.
Right.
So then, if we had with no search result or without empty search result attribute or whatever, because once you get rid of the word attribute, then it sort of implies there's content there, but there isn't. It's just a Boolean. Yeah. So you're going to say something.
I was going to say you were changing it to with no songs, but I think that we want it with songs. It's just the one, and this brings us to the fact that we don't have a search. We're not actually. We have a search. Right. We have, in a sense, the song themes. There's a song in there, but we never entered the search term.
Yeah, we never did.
Right. So this is good, right? This is guiding us to like, oh, well, we have the model for getting stuff back, but we don't actually specify the search. So we might want to so let's figure that out.
So we think undo this, chuck this test, and and
I think this is the
clarify this
test.
better?
No, I think,
Or
well,
well, you know what? I think you're right. I think we
maybe
should do it on this test
well,
because
well, and I
oh,
was going to
sorry.
agree with you. um, we could go either way. I think if we go back to the previous one, it's unclear why we're getting empty search results.
Right, because we haven't
Because we
actually
have it with one song and we have a theme search where we're not actually searching anything. I would say let's postpone this test and make the other one more clear.
yeah, I want to check this all out. Maybe I'll leave the name, but okay.
And so with one song is actually not clear anymore.
Right.
So I think we have to
This is
inline.
unclear, and
Yeah.
this is unclear.
Well, that's certainly unclear because it's missing. What the heck are you searching for?
Exactly. You think inline this?
I
Or
think inline it because then we're going to have to specify a theme search that's not that.
right, right. Okay. Inline this one only, or just get rid of it and
I
remove?
think just this one only.
Okay. Done. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Song searcher.
You
New
can actually
Year's
see it at the
select.
bottom.
Right.
So and let's make it so that we can
Right.
split the line.
That okay?
That works
Give
for
a
me.
preference. Okay.
Yeah.
So really, I'm curious about theme search now. What does that thing even do?
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's got found songs. It
Well,
looks
so
like
it does.
we hard coded the theme.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But that's good. So now what we can do is we can take that theme string and we can
Make it a. What were we gonna say?
I was going to say make it a introduce a parameter.
Yeah. Can you go straight to introduce parameter, or should you make it a local and then introduce parameter?
No, you can go straight to introduce parameter.
Okay, so like that.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Requested theme.
Look at that. You even
I'm
came up
okay
with
with
a good
that.
name. I'm good with that.
Cool. Done.
Let's change the order of the parameters because usually we want model to sort of come at the end. So let's do a
Do that.
change signature on theme search.
Okay. Control Shift Alt T. I forget which one is signature. Control F6.
And just swap them. Yep.
Done.
All right. Probably run our test. Let's switch to the other tests to just the IO free ones.
Right. This has been all refactoring.
Yep.
And there's an extra empty test. It doesn't do anything, but
all right.
cool. So if we want to make this more descriptive, we want to search. Searching for an empty string is kind of silly. So we probably want to make the search.
I think yes, and that will lead us to the next step, which is clarifying the setup. But let's put in a song theme that is not New Year's.
Yeah. I was getting ready to type applesauce, but I'm not going to.
You could, or you could type Christmas.
Sure, I'll do Christmas because it's Christmas Eve.
Yes. But that leads to now confusion in this test, right?
Right. So now we could extract this into a new method, but something along the lines of create song with New Year's theme or something, or not Christmas theme, or what were you thinking? I was thinking something
I'm not sure I'd go that far just yet. I might just extract the two pieces into local variables. So theme and name, or theme and song name.
Got it. What is so for local variable? Is it alt? Is it no? C is constant.
V is for variable.
V for variable. Okay. You want that to be theme. Oh, it actually guessed it was
Yeah.
theme.
Well, theme was probably the parameter name.
Right.
So, yeah, theme.
What did I do wrong? Control Alt V.
You had it. Yeah, just hit
Oh.
enter. And so one of the things that this will get us to later is creating our song value object,
Yeah.
or whatever that becomes. Our probably won't. It might be an entity. Yeah, song entity. So, but for now we can keep it that. So now I think this test is more clear. The song title we could say is irrelevant. And now
inline it back in, you mean?
Well, I was thinking now we could extract the whole setup into create controller with a theme, but I'm not sure about that yet. But I think now we can write the next test.
I think I'm happy with it. Something I'm unhappy with about it, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to let it fester or marinate for a more positive version. Okay, so now this new test, we want to have non-empty. We need to create it. I'm going to make this just a teeny bit. There we go. On theme controller. New.
You gotta let it autocomplete before.
Oh yeah, I blew it again. So for this one, we want it to be what we have.
Right,
I guess
so this
continue
one,
the same model, really. Do you see a reason not to?
Yeah, that looks
I'm going to go back to that.
That probably leads us to figuring out what we might want to encapsulate.
Exactly. Use theme, the local variable, or
my preference is to be explicit.
Yeah. Okay. So now this, you just want to test the exact same attribute.
Right.
What's the deal, IntelliJ? How come you don't know what I want to put in a string?
Because you don't have the AI on.
Luckily. Not just yet, at least. Okay, is that what we want? Yeah, so this should fail. Oh, you're thinking it's going to pass?
I think it's going to pass.
Oh, I haven't looked at the theme search code. Because it's doing empty every time. What did somebody say? Line 46 is without empty search result.
Oh, so that attribute doesn't, yeah, so we didn't copy the attribute correctly. So that's fine. Let's run it and watch it fail for that reason.
Oh, plural versus singular. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice catch.
Yep, so it was null. So null would have been would not have been our expected. So either we would have expected the test to fail because false was not true, or it would have passed. But we got an unexpected error, with null, and that means that we couldn't find the attribute.
Yeah.
And so that's, again, reinforcing the idea of predicting precisely how your tests fail.
Right.
And when it doesn't match your precise failure, then you know your test has a problem. So let's fix that.
Yep.
And
And thank you, Astrid, for
yeah.
being the human compiler. I always like it when me or my roommates do that, or me or my teammates do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to fix it, rerun the test. This time it's going to fail. Sorry, it's going to pass, but it shouldn't pass. Is that right? Let's see.
Well, let's see. Let's run it and see what happens.
So much for predicting well.
Yeah. So it passed. Now, this is one of those things where it's like, did we take too big of a step before? I mean, yes, to me, it's like, yes, we could have hard coded the, line 23 to not do anything and just return true. And then this test would have forced us to then actually look at the found songs and return false. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a fairly obvious next step. But this now sort of confirms for me that we have sort of hooked up our adapter to our application. And that's really the important part of what we're doing here. So I think it's way past time to do a commit.
Yes. Open to suggestions.
I'd have to look at what we actually did. I think we actually
let's just do a quick diff.
Pass in a theme to our search.
Is that the only thing we did?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oops.
Nope.
Wrong
Window.
place. Now passing a theme into theme search.
I would say theme search endpoint.
Even better.
Because there's different levels.
Right. Is that good?
Yep, that's good. So Tukes asks, new to Java, want to become a Spring Boot developer, what are the main advice? Make sure that you have a solid understanding of Java. That's critical before you get into anything about Spring Boot. So make sure you've done enough Java development so you know how constructors work, you know how to test your code and write tests, that you can write your unit tests using JUnit. Really focus on making sure you've got your syntax and understanding of classes and how they get instantiated before you move on to Spring Boot. Once you move on to Spring Boot, the Spring Boot Academy is really good. The Spring Boot guides are really good. Follow those tutorials and then modify them and build on them. That's how you'll learn. And that's in general advice to anyone who wants to learn. Build on tutorials, follow them, but then build on them. Add stuff to them, add more features, change things, see how they work. Do not get into database stuff until you're very comfortable with other aspects. It's very easy to try and follow a tutorial that does everything, but you don't know what all the different parts are. And if you've watched me long enough, you know that testing is paramount, so make sure you're able to test things. And Asher says, and don't give up. Absolutely. You will be frustrated. You'll be frustrated by not understanding things. You'll be frustrated by the documentation not quite being as helpful as you'd like. Read primary documentation. Start always with the Spring docs. Some of it is not as good as I would like, but some of it is actually quite good. You're not going to understand half the stuff you read, but you got to read it so you know it's there. But that's why working on your own project that you're motivated to push on when times get rough. So don't give up. Do you need to learn Spring before Spring Boot? So one thing that's very confusing is what the universe of the Spring framework is. Spring framework, you're not going to want to learn sort of directly. You're not going to just say, "Hey, let's start working with the Spring framework." What Spring Boot does is get rid of a lot of boilerplate. So the whole idea of the Spring Boot project was there's going to be a lot of boilerplate code that you're going to basically copy and paste to hook things together. Don't do that. Just use Spring Boot. Go to start.spring.io. Lots of great videos out there by folks like Dan Vega and other folks. And so you can follow those and just use Spring Boot to slowly figure out how to basically tie pieces together. And yeah, break the tutorials, right? Build on them, follow them, but then break them, change them, build on them, modify them, all that kind of stuff. And yes, one of the things you will find, be very, very careful about searching Stack Overflow. Be very, very careful about using like something like ChatGPT. It will give you outdated and obsolete information because Spring has been around for 20 years. There's a lot of stuff out there that is no longer correct or current, or it's somewhat obsolete. Always make sure you're looking at the most recent docs. Searching Google, you will find stuff and it will redirect you to versions that are out of date. So make sure, so there is a plugin that will automatically help you redirect to the latest version. I have that. Actually contributed to it. I think a line of code. So get that so that you're always looking at the latest docs. All right. So how do we feel about our code here in our tests?
Well, I think it's passing, but we don't think it should be passing.
Well, I think it should be passing.
Oh, wait a second.
Because it's
False.
because it's false. So it's doing the right thing. It's now confirmed that we are hooked up to something that's actually paying attention to the theme that we're passing in. So because we basically tested both ways, so we know that
Right.
somewhere there's logic that's being executed, and it's not in the controller. So that's good. So do we want to
Refactor the test.
rethink about encapsulating our setup?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how to do it such that it's still evident.
Right.
Empty search results. I mean, it's
So
so
that's a Chrome Store plugin for extension for the Spring Doc Read latest.
should
So
we basically parameterized factory that takes theme and song title?
I think so, and I think it should be creating the controller.
In the controller. Is that what you said?
No. What I'm saying is what we want to encapsulate is the entire setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But have as parameters theme and song title.
Right.
So would that be that as an extract? I guess we could find out and see. What is M, right? Yeah.
Yep.
What does that do? Theme and song title. Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need a better name than get.
I think we can say create.
Yeah. That's sufficient? Okay. Name?
Yeah, I'm unhappy with 2 parameters, but I don't want to go all the way to a builder, so it's fine.
Hmm. Should we?
No, I don't think that helps.
Okay.
I think it
Oh,
is what it is. Yeah,
okay.
and we want to replace the other occurrence as
Yeah,
well.
of
Yeah.
course. So, and having the name parameters is still valuable, or we named local vars.
Yeah, I kind of think we don't have a choice.
At the moment. Move this to the bottom.
Yeah, let's move that to the bottom, and we can clean up that temporary variable.
I'm going to get rid of the not null.
Nah, leave it there.
Okay.
So let's fix that yellow. Nope, go back.
Oh,
Let's fix that yellow. Inline. So Alt Enter.
oh, I see. Inline. Yeah. No, I was trying to see why we're inlining.
Oh, okay.
Now I got it. I was just trying
Yep.
to grok it before I did it.
Gotcha.
Cool.
What? You don't take IntelliJ's recommendations blindly? Come on.
Okay, we're still green. Gira? Or is there more you had thoughts on in this area? We're just dealing with the attribute at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's go back to Jira and see if we've finished. What did we finish? Yeah, we finished the model saying that there are results, or that there are no results. But yes, yes, we have no bananas. Let's do a commit just saying we refactored our tests.
Okay. Okay, done.
Now I think we should actually get those results in our model.
Right. So
because we are getting results, we're just looking to see if they're empty or not, and that's good, but not good enough.
So are we looking at these two, or writing a new?
Oh, that's a good question. So do we want to switch to generating HTML,
or change the order?
Is that because we don't want to do the HTML?
Well, to me, the other two flowed from what we were doing.
All right, let's do that.
HTML feels like a slight tangent.
Let's move the HTML at least after a single song.
Okay.
And then we can worry about multiple songs.
Sounds good. So back to controller, returns model with a single. So new test.
And I'm not sure it's worth. So we had in Jira, we had sort of 2 separate ones for one and for many. I'm not sure we get much from doing one versus many, because we're already getting a list from the underlying application. I don't feel like we need to apply 0, 1, many here. I think we can go directly to many. It's going to be just as
so you're saying
just as straightforward.
That.
Yeah.
You hesitated, so I'm going to undo it and then.
Only because.
Or do you want to do it this way? Oh, sorry. Let you finish what you're thinking. You started saying something.
No, I think I was thinking, it'd make the test a little hard, but we're gonna have to write that test anyway. So let's go straight to multiple. I don't think it's gonna.
So
I don't. To me, there's nothing unknown about returning one versus returning many. If we were doing true sort of outside in, one step at a time, we wouldn't have a song searcher application code that returns a list. It would have just returned one or none.
So what about?
But we already. I'm not sure. Do we have a test for song searcher that returns multiple songs?
No.
I don't think we
Right,
do
we
because
didn't
line
do it
10
up
says
here.
we don't.
Yeah, we haven't done it.
So,
So I was actually thinking this, just to kind of, before you,
yeah.
was these would be one test. We would build it with one, knowing it's still a list, and then just make that test become the multiple. So sort of baby step it, but no need to have two separate tests. Or am I just throwing confusion into the mix?
Well, I think what we have to do uh, is get the model with a single song, because right now that's all that the underlying application apparently supports.
Yep.
Then we'll want to test a new test with multiple songs, which won't work, and then we'll have to test closer, and then we could. So do we? Yeah, we might just like do what you said. Basically, write a test, get the single one, modify the test for multiple. That will be a test that won't work until we update our song searcher, and then stuff will just work. So let's go that way. Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do that next.
Yes.
Okay.
So full says, why not use tools like Rest Assured to test control instead of instantiating the controller? Speed. My general goal in writing tests is I want to write the fastest, most directly connected tests with the least amount of cruft in between me and the code I'm testing. Adding on tools like Rest Assured or HTML unit and so on are great if that's what you're testing, but I want to test my code as directly as possible, and anything else is going to get in the way. In fact, you'll notice that these are actually IO-free tests, what some people call unit tests. We're not actually using the framework, which means they are super fast. My primary goal is tests that are fast, as many of them as I can get. And only when I have to test something like framework configuration will I fall back to other kinds of tests. All right, so let's write that test.
Okay. See, we're doing model with single, so back to controller test.
So I kind of feel like this is less a new test and more another aspect of that there were not empty search results.
Got it. Sure. So now, in addition to checking the attribute, we want to check that we got something.
Yeah.
And go away.
Hit escape. Again.
What is that? Okay.
So there's some setting which I couldn't find last time. I'll find it. Is to turn off the hover parameter list, because yeah, we don't want that. So we're going to do a get attribute. Now we have to decide what attribute is going to hold the songs.
Right. Search results.
Yeah, so it's either search results or it's songs. What do you
What's
think?
the name? Theme search. I just worry about search results having different meanings. But the name of the test is search results returns model with non-empty search results. I'm open to arguments one way or the other. I'm still thinking it through, but feel free to jump in. My initial thought was search results. Then you said songs, which made me go, oh, maybe. The advantage of this is the symmetry of these two. Like this is a Boolean without using
Yeah,
has empty search results.
yeah. So I think search results is probably better because songs could be anything. Where did the songs come from? Are they all the songs? Are they some songs?
Yeah.
Search results is probably more clear. So let's go with that.
Cool. You can do equal to.
So search results is going to return what's basically going to be a collection. So I think we probably want to say contains exactly. It's not going to know what that is, so we're going to have to explicitly cast it. So let's do a cast
to
that.
In there, you mean?
Or
do that instance of approach.
No, the instance of isn't going to help us here.
Oh, right. Never mind.
Yeah. Let's first extract that to a variable.
Good idea.
Yeah, it'll be search results. And then instead of object, we'll make it a list of something. So what do we want that list to be? Is it a list of string? It can't be a list of string because it has multiple components to it.
So this is forcing us into the object. Yeah.
Unless we defer that and just say, no, it returns song titles.
Oh, and not gives us the key that was used to get it.
Right.
Oh, but yeah, I see what you're saying. That is a deferring approach, and that is simpler.
Is it too much deferral? Is it truly Yagni? I mean, eventually that's going to need to become an object.
I think it's okay because I don't necessarily want. Okay, so say it's 50 songs. Do I really want New Year's Eve, name of song about New Year's Eve, 1. New Year's Eve, name of New Year's Eve song, 2. So I don't think we're ever going to.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to want the theme.
We're going to start wanting other things like artists and so forth.
Yes, it's pretty likely we're going to want other things. And so this is the the question of, do we defer it when we have more information? But if we do that, it means that we're going to have to do more work later to refactor these tests because they won't be list of string anymore. If we right now say, look, we're going to return a song view and it only has the title in it, that's going to be easier later.
Yeah.
Since it's not really Yagni, like we know we're going to need it. We for sure 100% absolutely know we're going to need it. If we defer it, we're actually just deferring pain and actually making the pain worse. So I think we should introduce a class, an object here. Yeah.
You had a good name for it, but I was busy thinking
song view.
Song view. Yeah.
So let's go create that. That's going to be a record.
Record is it record just key value pairs, or I mean pairs, or it can be any number of items?
So record is, you can think of as syntactic sugar for a class where it creates all the getters and setters for you.
Got it. Okay.
Although it doesn't have setters because it's immutable, and doesn't have getters, they're just query methods.
Because getters are evil.
Yes. Well, setters are more evil, but getters are evil enough.
True. Yeah, setters are more evil.
Okay. So I think we can add the component that we know we're going to have, which is the title.
Now for records, I'm still rusty with records. I just
put the type and just declare a variable basically. So string type.
Inside the.
Yeah, right there.
Like I was doing, like this.
Yep.
And song title.
Yeah, I kind of think song is redundant because we're in song view.
Song view. And song view is for a single song. We're gonna have a list of these. Okay, yep, right. Got it.
Lowercase t.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a name. Yep.
Tittle. Okay.
So now we're going to need to cast that.
I'm seeing what Sweegie is saying.
Turning list song view into a song search result class someday will be less painful. Yeah, I don't know how we'd want to deal with paging. Eventually we might. Yeah, since I don't. So there's a case where we probably will do paging. Likely, 70% likely. I don't know what that looks like. So that I'm willing to defer because I don't know exactly what that looks like. So and that probably will also be easier to encapsulate than a list of string, because that'll be a more straightforward surround with the class. But that's a good question.
Yeah. Okay, so you were saying cast.
Yeah. So if you do an alt enter, it'll offer it to cast it for you. Yep.
Got it.
And we will just deal with that, even though it's saying, hey, you might not be able to do that. In this case, we know that for sure we're going to do that. All right. So now,
casting.
Yeah. So now we can do a contains exactly. So what do we expect it to contain? Yeah, turning a list of string into a list of song view is painful enough. Encapsulating the whole thing is I think less painful, but it's also, I'm not sure what that looks like. Whereas this, I'm pretty darn sure what it looks like. So what do we expect it to contain? So this is where we're finding it. So what's the song?
What we're checking for New Year's, so it would be this guy.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I thought I grabbed the. There we go. What's not happening?
You don't need list of, because contain is exactly, you're specifying the entries, not a list.
Oh. So I've got an extra curly. I mean, paren.
Yep. All right. What do we think is going to happen when we run this?
I think it's going to fail, but I have to look at the code to see.
So it's going to fail because that attribute of search results doesn't exist. So we're probably going to get a null.
Right.
We're going to get on the assertion, it's going to be null, and you can't assert null. And so it's just going to complain that it didn't expect actual to be null.
Gotcha. So line 49. Well, probably
50. 49, it's fine. It's going to be model get attribute. That's going to be return null. It's fine to cast it to whatever you want.
Right. And then
it'll complain on the assertion.
Yeah. So line 50. Okay. Running test.
Yep. Expecting actual not to be null.
Interesting. It doesn't. Oh, maybe
it's all the way at the end.
51. Oh, after it. Oh, when it tried to dereference it here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Stuk says, is hating writing HTML and CSS block me from becoming a good Spring Boot dev? So I find that when people say, I hate writing X, it means you're uncomfortable with it. And I would say, don't hate doing it. Doesn't mean you have to be great at it, but I think it's important to understand what it is and learn a little bit about it. Because it's going to be a lot less fun as a single person learning something like Spring Boot to not be able to generate web pages. It's kind of boring. So you're going to want to learn just enough. But if it's not the thing you enjoy doing, that's okay, because Spring Boot is mostly about the back end. I would say like 90% of what most people are doing with it is back end stuff. No. All right, so test fails exactly as we expected. So we could do two things. We could basically make it pass. Sorry, not pass. We could make it fail differently.
Right.
So let's do that. Let's make it not fail with a null. Let's make it fail because it couldn't find the song view.
Yep. Oh, right.
Whoop. What happened?
I'm waiting for the.
Oh, you went into the model itself.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
waiting for the presentation thing to go away so I can close it. Wow, this really is.
Well,
buggy.
you already moused over it, so now it's going to not disappear until you tell it to disappear.
Can I tell it to disappear? Escape. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would be doing that in.
So what's the code that's loading up the model?
Controller.
Right. Which, yep.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. We got it hard coded to is empty.
That's not hard coded.
Oh, right. Because it's
Is empty is logic.
Right.
So we want to add another attribute to the model.
Let's see if my buffers. Yep, stayed. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. And so what do we want to put in here to get it to fail differently?
Well, if we give it no, I guess we have to put something in there, right?
Yeah.
So if we did this.
Well, that's not going to be of the right type, so it's going to get a cast failure. But we could run it and see what happens. Let's see that it does that.
Because what I was thinking, it would at least get us past the search result null point. Yeah, so now we're at the casting problem.
So you got to put something that's a list of song view there.
Right. Now I can do list of.
Well, since we want to have the, what were you going to do a list of?
I was just going to make some.
So we could return an empty list.
So it got the.
Yeah, so we could do an empty list that will get cast correctly. So if you just do collection, you can just do empty list and let it auto. No, lowercase empty. Sorry.
Really?
You got to finish typing empty list, otherwise it doesn't know where because it's basically a static method name.
Oh, I see.
So open close paren. Now import it.
Got it.
So now we expect it to get past the cast, get past the null. Of course, it won't have the song in it, so it'll fail for that reason.
Right. So we're sort of building up the functionality.
And so this is why TCR would never work for me, because TCR requires you to sort of, it would say, well, the test failed, we're going to revert everything. It's like, no, we're ratcheting up. We're basically using different failures, expected failures, but that are actually making progress. And TCR doesn't like that. But I personally think, like, when people talk about taking small steps, it's not just taking small steps in writing, tests and a little bit of code. It's also writing little bits of code that, because you could modify the test each time, but I don't know. I find that, like, you could say, okay, assert that search results is not empty. Assert. You could start out with assert that search results is not null. Get that to pass. Go back to the test, modify it. And so that would sort of make TCR happy, because every time but then you're modifying the test a lot, which is another way to go. It's just not the way I do it. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, so you could, instead of making it fail in different predictable ways, you could certainly ratchet up the assertion. Yeah. But I actually find, since I'm going to be predicting anyway that it's going to fail, I find it just as good to basically say, now it's going to fail for this different reason, which is still a positive matching expectation, which is really what ratcheting up the assertions would do.
I was wondering about for the empty list, would you
collections
plural? Would you do that to make it more clear, or is it?
If I thought it was going to stick around for more than like a minute, then yes.
Got it. Right. It's only there for a hot minute.
But it's there for it's about to disappear. So
Right.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. So we did look at the test. It failed as we expected. So now it's putting the real results in.
Right.
So it's a list of strings. Now we need to convert that list of strings. So do we do that conversion here? This is an adapter because the control is an adapter. Now, do we ultimately want a song view to be a domain object? No, view implies not domain.
Right. It's an adapter DTO.
Yeah. So it's an adapter DTO. So this would be the place to create it. Okay. Eventually, this will be not a list of strings.
Correct. That will likely be.
That'll be a domain object.
That'll be a domain object. Yes.
Got it. Okay. So here we've got list.
So here's where a stream is what we're gonna want to do.
Okay.
So we don't want to declare a stream. What we're eventually going to end up with is a list of song view, and maybe that's what you were going to do, but. And so we can declare a variable of that type.
Nope, doesn't work.
Yeah, song views.
This is where I need some coaching.
So now we're going to do found songs.stream.
.stream, okay.
And then we're going to do a .map. So a .map is basically a transform.
Okay.
And you could put a line break before .stream to help format things.
Control Shift L?
I think it's Alt Control L.
I'll try one. Control Alt L.
Yes, Stream API. One of the best things ever.
Yeah,
I can't wait for. There's something coming up in preview for Java 22, which is Stream Gatherers, which is going to be really fun.
Oh, cool.
All right,
I think I have a kata, stream code kata that I need to run through and get better with streams at.
Yeah, there's so many different things you can do with the Stream API that unless you're doing some of it often, you won't. Like I'll even fall back to, let me just write this as a for loop and get IntelliJ to write it as a stream. So what we want to do is we want to do something inside the map, which is basically a function. So what we're going to get are, we're going to get a song. So let's write the variable song. And then a thin arrow. And what we want to do is convert that to a song view. So we can just do new song view, pass in song.
Okay.
Now, okay. And now we can collect that to a list. You can just do toList. I think you missed. No, it's fine. Why is it indenting it weird?
I don't know. It's really
reformat. Yeah, something's weird. Now it turns out since song view is basically a single parameter thing, we can just have it do that. Yes, which is the method reference for the constructor.
Right. Sweet.
All right.
And this would go where empty list used to be.
Yes.
Or is.
Yeah. And so full asks a really interesting question, which is why do the mapping in the controller instead of the service layer? And here's where the architecture of hexagonal or other architectures too, but we're basically I'm certainly thinking hexagonal.
Yeah, me too.
Is because this mapping is particular, as we can tell by the song view name, is particular for this adapter. If you have different adapters, you will have different needs for mapping. So you don't want your application code to be aware of how it's being presented, whether it's being presented as HTML or as a REST API with JSON or sending stuff through some messaging queue. that mapping of domain information to the presentation or external layer should be isolated inside of that layer. So I don't think it's an SRP principle. I think it's an isolation, it's a modularization principle. So I don't like SRP because I don't find it useful guidance. And so I'm always thinking about encapsulation. So this encapsulates the job of converting the domain for this particular adapter where it needs to be, and nobody else needs to use it.
Do you think throwing up your hexagonal
I don't feel like doing that right now. I'll maybe do it later. Where, and the way I think about it also is if you put it in the service layer for this controller, and then you've got a REST API, so you now have more code in your service layer, and then you have a message queue, and then you have more code in your service layer. Now your service layer, you've got more code that's only used by some other pieces, and so from a cohesion standpoint, it's not cohesive. It's doing, and you could look at, so I think for me, SRP is not useful. I'd rather think about cohesion. They feel similar, but cohesion, I think, is just the way I think about it.
Just to add to it, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I would say is to also think about it as if you're changing, say, the REST API adapter,
right,
but not the other ones.
Exactly.
Think of it as like this class. If I'm changing something in a single class, like the service class, and that service class does 3 different things, we're doing 3 significantly different things. So breaking them into adapters.
And that's the true single responsibility principle of not, hey, this has a single responsibility. Really, what it's about is it has a single reason to change.
Yeah.
And so changing, if I want to change the API, then I want to change just code that's responsible for that. I don't want to have to go and change something. And now, if I'm changing something else having to do with the presentation of HTML, if every time I'm changing any of those things, and those are very different things, if I'm having to go to the same place, that's multiple reasons for changing that code. Yeah, exactly. The service doesn't care. It's not its responsibility. It should be purely responsible for implementing the application, which is the business rules, policies, logic, that kind of thing, and not at all about how it gets presented, whether it's HTML or JSON or XML, to the outside world. Yeah. And I think it's such an important, like, I don't care if you use hexagonal or clean or onion or whatever you talk about, having those separation of concerns of what's domain and what's basically IO, right? This stuff that we're dealing with here is IO, right? HTML, it's going to be sent out to somebody's browser. Separating that makes the testing so much easier. And I always tell people, if you do nothing else, separate those concerns and life will be better.
We ready to run the test?
Yes, and then I'm going to have you fix something in IntelliJ. So yeah, so what do we think is going to happen?
So let's see, we've now populated the list of song views.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least we think we have.
It looks like we have.
And so really is the searcher actually doing
does the searcher work? Well, I hope we had tests for that and those passed. So
yeah, it looks like it probably will. Okay, let's give it a roll.
Yeah.
Yep, passed.
Yep. Voila.
It wasn't that fast. Okay. You wanted me to fix something?
Yeah, so open up the settings. And
you figured out where that funky thing was?
Go to under.
Or just tell me the name. Or is it two?
Type show full method signatures. And it'll be under code completion right there. There it is. Yes, so it's basically nearby there. So hit escape so we can see all the other options. Uncheck the show the parameter info pop-up, because that's what's annoying us.
Got it.
That's it.
Cool. Actually, let me. Actually, what? I didn't like that grab. That's the one I wanted.
Yeah, over the years I've turned off all of the hover auto pop-up stuff, because if I want to know it, I want to explicitly invoke it. It annoys me to no end to which is why I had to fix it, to like see other people like, and it's unintentional. It's like, you're sitting there talking about something and your mouse has hovered over it and now it's popping something up that's obscuring other stuff, and it's like, no, stop it.
Exactly. Cool. I actually realized, have we been going for more than an hour? Really?
Oh yeah, I guess we have. So maybe this is a good time for a break.
Or maybe let's answer the text, messages in the comments, and then take a
So
break.
Enderfunctor asks and then answers his own question. Is a searcher a mock? And that's like, nope, we are doing very much Detroit style, classical, non-mock oriented, using real objects in our tests. And so yes, it's the real one. And that I think is very much related to what I basically just said about separation of concerns. Is if your application code, and so from hexagonal or whatever separation of concerns architecture is in the center of mentally in the center, and it does no IO, it is cheaper. It is faster to instantiate your real domain objects than it is to use mocks. Mocks using a tool like Mockito will slow you down. And it's funny, it's like, what? No, that can't be. It's like Mockito will slow down your tests. And there's no reason to use it. It's actually faster to use real domain objects, with the additional advantage of you're not fooled into thinking your test passed when actually your real code was broken some time ago. Mockito's doing all sorts of stuff using ByteBuddy and gnarly tools to do stuff. It bypasses reflections in some ways, but it does some other stuff that's just nasty, and is just slow and is unnecessary, just completely unnecessary. There are places where you might want to use it, but I think still hand-rolled stuff is much better. I don't know if they use Mockito. I don't know that the Mockito existed. Probably an early form of it, or maybe EasyMock or some of the older JMock tools maybe existed. But to me, it's not about, from the growing object-oriented software, which is what the Goose book is. It's more about, when do you implement the real code? So from the past episodes, we did a little bit of inside out. We sort of started at the song themer, the domain object, and then now we've moved back to outside in to connect things up. And so the question is do you sort of do depth first? Like, let's get no songs, and we go all the way down into the song themer, all the way down to the domain object, and implement that. The more Goose way of doing it is, at each layer, at each level, you basically mock out the rest and say, okay, we want to make sure that our UI works. And now let's go to the next layer where we actually talk to the real searcher, and do that kind of thing. But I very much like the depth first, implement it all the way down. So it's been a while since I've read the books, but you don't have to use a mocking tool to write your test doubles of which mocks are one type. I generally prefer to hand code mine because they're going to be faster and they're going to give me exactly what I want. And a lot of times you don't need to write very much.
And the other thing is, it's actually, if you write your own, should you have a need for a mock or a spy or whatever, rolling your own
Yeah.
kind of gives you a better sense of what's actually happening
Mhm.
versus,
Yep.
less
Yeah.
likely to be testing the wrong thing.
Yep. And so the answers to that question of how do you test external API or some services without Mockito is write your own. Mockito is shortcutting your knowledge of how you interact with other systems. So you create a class that's going to be your adapter to that external system, and you create it as a stub or as a dummy or as a fake. But you write the code. There's no reason to use Mockito for that. All it does is make life harder when you run the tests, so they're slower, and it makes life much harder when you actually have to refactor. And yes, you can always rely on GPaw to have some good stuff on that. I'll answer this last question, and then we'll take a break. Will we use contract tests for the in-memory repo and the real repo? Yes. So generally, when we write tests against our application code, the application code is going to need to go and fetch stuff from some repository. Those application tests should run exactly the same way, i.e., pass, whether you're using an in-memory repository or a real database, and we'll basically write tests that will execute both. All right, we're going to take
Maybe
7-minute break.
Yeah, just be a little
And
bit more
then
time.
when we come back, we'll write some more failing tests. So
Awesome.
see you in 5, 7.
Mm.
So while I'm waiting for Mike to come back, just going to mention this talk. So if you go to my YouTube channel, jitterted.tv, I've got a bunch of talks that I've given around the world on various meetups, and this one in particular talks about testable architecture using hexagonal. But the same principles apply whether you call it clean or hexagonal or onion. Again, the idea is there's your pure domain code, your application code. Hopefully you develop that using domain-driven design, tactical, basically discovery techniques, and you apply the tactical patterns in that module or in that boundary. And so this talk basically goes through how it helps testability to structure your code in that way.
Seeing that coffee is torturing me. I already had one very early this morning, but I would love a second. But I think that would be truly
Yeah,
unwise.
I was thinking about it. It's like, no, it's after 1, and
Yeah.
I try not to drink coffee after 1, and I don't have decaf because I don't see the
Why
point.
bother? Yeah. I used to be a 6 a.m. and then again at like 1 or 2 mid-afternoon break with my colleagues, but I can't do the 2 in the afternoon anymore.
Yeah. It's called getting old, I guess, because I
Yeah, maybe.
remember
Getting old.
I remember I used to be able to have like a double espresso after dinner, and that would be fine. But not anymore.
I have a friend that still can
All
do
right.
that. But yeah.
So let's switch back here. All right. We should do a commit if we haven't already.
Good Lord, yes. Wrong screen. Okay.
Do we want to update Jira right since we're going to commit?
Yeah, let me. You laughing at the calling it Jira?
I'm laughing at updating Jira.
Do we need more? I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I don't know that. I don't know. Do we have a test for multiple songs?
No, we didn't do that just now, did we? No, we were doing.
No, we did the one with the arrow next to it. Yeah, it hasn't yet. I'm sure it will become no longer warranting a chuckle, but I got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's commit now that we've updated.
We're doing stand-up now.
Yeah.
3 shows a day. 2 on
your
weekends.
waitress.
Tip your waitress. Yeah. Okay. Good enough?
Yeah, technically it does more than that because we didn't just grab the first song and map it. We actually map the whole list. So I think we can just say return songs matching.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And shipped.
Speaking of shipping,
oh yeah.
Do we want to
keep pushing?
I mean, the next. So I think after we do the generate HTML, I'd like to ship it to. I'd like to push it to production.
Now, will the website be showing the HTML? Because I'd rather have the website still just be non-functional.
Why is that?
Well,
Why
if
do you
we
want
have
to
something
have?
that doesn't do anything for real, um,
Yeah, doesn't do anything for real right now.
right? But it says so. It says coming soon. Uh,
Well, we're not doing continuous deployment unless we're shipping stuff.
true, true. Well, but you can no, no, but
What's your
you can
concern?
ship with a
What's your
feature
concern?
flag. You can ship with a feature flag, and it's on the server, but it's not right.
Sure, but what's your concern?
Um, well, just because it's a domain, somebody stumbled across is like, oh, there's this website. Oh, it doesn't do anything. It just returns
Right.
old lang syne, and then otherwise it returns nothing. Um,
Okay. I mean, it's your site. I'm just trying to
yeah, yeah.
I'm just wondering what your concern is. That's
I
fine.
think
We could
that's
do
it.
feature flag.
Yeah, actually, that'd be good to from a feature flag perspective. That'd be it.
It's just I'm uncomfortable going for too long without actually pushing it to production.
I've seen worse sites. Got it. I mean, with a feature flag, you're still pushing it to production. What you're saying is not that you're not comfortable
Yeah,
pushing to
but you
production.
don't really you're not really like putting stuff behind a flag is temporary. At some point, you're going to need to turn off that feature flag,
Right. Of course.
and why not sooner rather than later?
Right. Right.
Um, but again, it's your site, so you get to choose. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that I start to be uncomfortable when I haven't seen stuff in production,
Right.
especially once we get to databases and things like that. But again, it's your app or your site, so you
Got
get to
it.
decide.
People are saying a lot of stuff in the. I've seen worse sites. Echo Strike. Thank you. Mm,
Yeah. But I don't want to pressure you into you doing something that you're not comfortable with.
right.
So
Right. Right.
totally,
Well,
totally. Fair
let's
choice.
let it marinate.
Mm.
But we could still.
Yep.
Right now,
we
it's
can
not
still, we should still get it
push
to the
it to
point where we could,
production
because the other thing is also, if
because right now this would not
yeah,
change if we pushed it all the way to production. Right. It would still just
yeah.
say
Right
coming
now
soon.
we have a get mapping an endpoint that nobody knows about unless they're watching this stream.
Right. So
Um, but anyway, let's get to the point where we can at least run it locally and see the HTML.
okay.
Um, so do we want to just get the next one off the list? Because I'm not sure about. Yeah, I would say let's do the next one, and then we'll generate the HTML and then we'll try it out.
Okay. Um, so back to controller test.
Yep.
That was this one. So now we need to populate with more than one song,
Right.
which
Yes.
means this
So this is
is,
gonna require us to do some depth, some
yeah.
changes in depth, as it were.
Should we move over to
Well, no, so we
this?
want to do what we want to do is if we're now sort of doing full-fledged outside in, which means we want to failing test at this layer, which will then require us to implement something down in the domain, get that
Right.
working, and if that works properly, this test should then pass.
Then pass. Right.
So let's get this test to fail. We can disable it, then go down a layer, work
Right.
there, and then come back here.
So do we inline this, work within that framework to refactor towards it, or do we just start? That's what I'm thinking to myself, and I should be thinking out loud.
Yes.
Um,
What are you thinking?
so yeah, it's like we want to pass in a list of themes. Well, no, wait a second.
Mm,
This is creating the controller.
Really, it's create with songs, and these happen to be attribute pairs, but for a single song.
Right. And we have the concept of, but song view is not for populating. That's,
Correct.
and song view is not a pair.
Not song view is irrelevant from this vantage point.
Right.
So what I would say is we want to first basically create a parameter object that will be right now for the convenience of populating, basically ending up populating the database.
Is there a way to automatically create a
Yes, so you can if you bring up the refactor menu, or I don't know if I'm not sure if Alt Enter will do it, but if we bring up the refactor menu, we can introduce
I may have the cursor in the wrong spot.
yeah, so if you put it on the method itself, yeah, and it should have on the refactor menu introduce parameter object.
Not the menu.
That's interesting. Why isn't it there? Maybe you have to be inside but not selecting one of the parameters.
Meaning like here?
Yeah. But bring up the refactor this menu. Why is introduce parameter object not coming up?
Because sometimes the menu has more than the.
So the refactor this has more choices than.
Oh, more. I thought it was the other way around. I thought this had more than refactor this. Introduce. Yeah, see right here. Extract introduce parameter object.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why it wasn't coming up on the refactor this.
I've often found things that are available but that aren't in refactor this. I always think of refactor this as a subset of the possibilities, not all of them.
Can you put the cursor right after the open paren before theme?
And try again.
Yeah. Can you put it in after the comma? Just wondering what, because I know I've seen it. Yeah, I know I've seen it come up in this menu.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's.
There is internet search. How do you?
Well, it's a. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's just go and refactor it.
So from here.
Yes.
Now it's telling us where to be. But it's saying symbol, singular. Should we try it again?
Yeah. Can you try selecting both theme and song title?
Yeah.
And now bring up the refactor this. Okay, bring up the refactor menu and see. I'm thinking that it's not going to show. See here, it shows you all the options. It doesn't mean they're valid.
Right.
That's why the refactor this will only show you valid options in that context.
Within the method declaration.
So Suiji
So
mentions
does that mean
maybe it's only available in the implementation, which would be weird.
Let's try.
Yeah. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
That's unfortunate.
Thanks, Ouija.
I feel like that's anyway. It is what it is, but I feel like it should offer that at a call site as well, because you can do things like change signature at the call site. So, all right. So what we want to do is we want to create. Now this is I don't quite know where. Right now we're using it here. What do we do with the values? So move that out of the way. So we pass them right into create song searcher. Let's jump into that. Yeah, so this is something that's basically going to have to sort of bubble all the way down.
And it also seems kind of weird that song searcher constructor gets the theme. You would think that that would be a on a search method.
Well, remember that what we're adding is we're adding the theme and song are basically all part of song. We're basically saying create song searcher with one song because that's all we did when we were doing
Right.
inside out development.
Yeah, yeah. But we're going to
So
start.
so what we need to do is and we can do this sort of bottom up or top down to basically replace the theme song title pair with an object. What are you thinking?
And then I was thinking, and ultimately, that object would contain a theme
Hmm.
and a list of songs.
Okay, so now you're getting into what is our data design, and that's not how I was thinking of it at all.
Ah, okay.
Um, Not that your way is invalid. It's just I was thinking, here's because I was thinking, how does data entry work, and where does the data come from? You get a bunch of songs. For each song, you get its data
Theme,
and its
right.
theme, and so you basically have, in a sense, a spreadsheet like thing,
Crazy.
where one of those columns is the theme.
Right, right.
Uh, Internally, it's likely going to be a hash map.
Because ultimately, a single song will have multiple themes.
But when you're reading and writing the data to the database, and so this now gets into how we persist it.
Right.
Um, so sort of taking a step back, since I'm not quite sure what the internal structure is going to look like, and it is internal, what is the most convenient way for us to
Yeah, pair.
add songs? So when we add a song, we're likely going to be adding a song, and it's going to have the theme. Whether the theme is part of the song object or not is
We defer.
I'd probably put it on there unless there's a reason not to, because it's always good to keep things together rather than have them separated.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that.
So I think we can sort of go top down, or we can say, well, we know we're going to need some song domain object, and sort of move uh, sort of bottom up.
Right. And
Yeah.
we
So Suiji asks a relevant question, which is, can a song have multiple themes?
definitely.
Um, so yes, we know we're going to need it. Is that something we say we don't need it yet and defer it, or do we include that now?
I'm inclined toward deferring.
Yeah, I feel like we know we're going to need it. I feel like that's a bridge too far because there's other stuff that we also don't know. Um,
Right. Okay. So we didn't create that, did we?
well, we didn't, because we want to figure out, do we want to go bottom up or top
Right.
down?
Right.
Um, my tendency is to go top down because that drives what clients need, and
Yeah.
so it's a very
Client centric.
client centric. Yeah. So let's do
Okay.
that.
So where were we? We were here.
So full asks, since both parameters are strings, what happens if we invert song and theme when calling the controller? um, Bad things, which is why you always want to avoid that. But when you have string parameters that are coming in to an endpoint, presumably they're fed to you by a form, which would then match up the names. Um, but the more you get closer to the domain, the more you're likely going to want value objects for some of these things. But there's a trade-off, and so that would be part of a test to make sure that when your form is submitted, that the parameters are correct and that you're evaluating the parameters correctly. Because at that level, you're just dealing with strings. As you go inside, you can decide whether they're value objects or not. They're as we I think we've talked about before, there's a cost to those value objects.
Shall we? Or you got a thought before we proceed with this?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I don't. Yeah, let's just do it. Yep. Let's introduce parameter object. Yeah, Java can be a stringly typed language if you're not careful. So what do we want to call this? Is this going to be ultimately our song?
I think so.
All right.
And if we're wrong, we can.
Yeah. Malibu says, whenever I'm joining your stream, I'm seeing write tests. Yes, because most of the thinking time is, if you're doing test-driven development, most of your thinking time is when you're writing tests. Because when you're writing code, it's almost trivial. It's just, okay, I got to make it do this. I know exactly what it needs to do, and I have a sense of exactly how it needs to work. There's generally, from a thinking standpoint, you're probably going to end up with more test code than code. But from a thinking standpoint, it's going to vastly outweigh the time that you're spending writing tests and thinking about your tests than thinking about your code.
Yeah, when you do TDD, you don't think as much about the writing code part anymore.
Yeah,
you're not having to do two things. You're trying to write production code and mentally go through what a test is doing.
Yeah.
In your brain, like what happens about this and what if this happened? Well, you write tests for it.
And I will say though, in terms of tests, writing tests and refactoring, like what we're doing now is we're not writing tests, we're refactoring. So there's certainly a large portion of time where you're refactoring. So between thinking about what you're going to need the test to do, writing the test, and then refactoring, the amount of time you're actually writing production code is probably like 10 to 20%. The rest of it's you're writing tests and you're refactoring. So yeah, I mean, the test would never pass if we didn't have production code, but it's just such a small part of it. Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right.
Anything else about the package?
Let's see.
At the moment, it's fine because we haven't really started.
Fine. So be careful about the destination directory. Let's make sure it's in our production directory. You might have to hit the 3 dots. Yeah.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, it is sneaky. I hate that. The rest I think is all fine.
Okay. Okay, refactor.
Yep. All right. Let's run the test just for giggles, but that was hopefully a straightforward refactoring.
Yeah.
Now, did it create a class or a record?
Let's go see.
It created a record. Well, good for it. We may end up turning it into a class, but go IntelliJ. All right. So let's.
So now this.
Yeah.
Is only dealing with the single song scenario.
Right. Well, so what we're doing is basically, I don't know if it's quite a prepare refactoring, but before we can have multiple songs, we need to group them up into objects to make that easier.
Yep.
Because you don't want to jump straight to a list of matching themes and song titles and have parallel lists, because that would be terrible. So by sort of putting them together as a song, it'll make it easier for the next step to make it have multiple. Yeah, if you're not running the tests first, you're not doing TDD. You may be doing a good job, but you're not doing TDD. Yep. That's why I do TD. It puts all the thinking at the safest possible point and puts that all up front. All right, so let's so does this give us enough where we can add multiple songs? If not, we're gonna have to drop down a level.
So we're gonna have to drop down a level.
Yeah, so let's go to create song searcher. Now, can we do a change signature on this and replace theme and song? Can we do that?
Let's see. So just delete.
So delete them both and let's add song. No, I think we can't do that. I think we have to do the other way around. Yeah, let's cancel that. Yeah. So let's describe what we want.
Would this work here?
No, that's bring it up, but I believe it's only for oh no, okay, so we can use existing class.
Yes.
I don't do this very often, but what happens if we use song? We don't want to generate accessors. We've got accessors. We shouldn't need to escalate visibility, but sure, leave it. It's all in one package anyway. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, so it
because it's a record.
Because it's a record, it's a bit confused. We could convert it to a class and have that work, but I don't want to do that. So let's cancel out of this. But that's something that maybe someday they'll fix. What we want to do is so we could change the signature and pass, like what Suiji is mentioning, pass in the new object and then stop using the old ones. But I think what we can do instead is inside of this create song searcher method, create a song object and then break it apart when we call new song searcher and then introduce parameter.
So you're saying
yep. It's a freaking song. I mean, it is competing with the incoming parameter song. So let's rename the parameter because that's it's not song, it's actually title. So let's fix that.
Okay. I want to hit enter so that it gets the song one. Is it? Yeah. Oh.
Yep, that's right.
Title.
Yep.
Is that sufficient? Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Thank you for offering song 2 as an alternative.
And then
why is that?
That's right.
Okay.
And now let's split apart the song on 19 and on the two parameters on that line 19.
Oh, I see. Song dot.
Yep. But it's a method call, not a parameter, not a variable.
Oh, what's it called?
I think you called it something else. No, you could just.
Oh, I could.
Yeah, I think actually in the record it's redundant. It may have made sense when it wasn't part of a parameter object, but now it's redundant because you're going to say song dot song title. But we'll fix that. We'll fix that in a minute.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So now let's just run our test just to make sure we didn't break anything. All right. And now we can do an introduce parameter on song.
Oh, introduce parameter.
Mm-hmm. And so notice it's going to strike out the other ones because they're no longer needed.
Right.
So go ahead and hit enter.
And it changed all the colors.
Right. Now it changed the colors in a way that might not have been convenient, but that's all right. We'll take care of those.
Should we go look at those right away, or were you thinking something?
Well, let's certainly fix the one that's in view on top on 57. You can just replace the whole thing with just song.
Oh.
No, the whole thing.
I was working on it.
You'll still
I was
need
just doing it past backwards.
one more closed paren.
Oh, right. That's what it is.
Let's run the test just to be sure.
Yep,
all right.
we're good.
And let's clean up all the other usages and then we'll.
Okay, so the other usage is for this one, right?
Yep.
So
that one's fine. That one I'm not sure about. You can open up you can turn on the preview in the upper right of that little dialog.
Oh.
No, not that. Right next to where it says 4 usages on the upper right.
Oh, interesting.
That's actually not what I wanted, but that's fine. There's the other option to show it below it.
Yeah, I thought it was Control-Shift-I. Isn't that? Let me undo it.
Yeah, do it again. So it's the one next to project files, to the left of the word project files. Yeah, that one. The preview source. Yeah.
There we go.
So that one's fine. That one we can't see. Oh, I think that one's fine too. So there's a bottom scroll bar, so you could do that if you wanted. You could scroll, but we can see that one's fine because that one is using hard-coded strings. And I think the last one is
that's when we changed.
That's when we changed. So actually, we're all good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Commit.
Let's do a commit. We've still got to push this down a bit more, but let's do a commit since we changed a bunch of files.
I don't know. Create
starting starting to create song to capture all of its attributes.
Okay, ship it.
Yep. Well, you're not shipping it.
Don't be bitter. Yet. Okay.
Hey there, James. Welcome. All right, let's push it down so that song searcher itself, its constructor. And here we could try it the other way.
The one that Sweegie was suggesting?
Yeah, just see what that feels like.
Change, is it from here? Change signature.
Yeah, so we'd add the song parameter.
Needs to get the type. Did it grab the type?
Yes, otherwise it would be red. That's going to conflict, so hold on. Let's, well, before you do anything else, click on Use Any var. And then scroll up, and we'll go and rename the other parameter at the same time. We'll see if it'll let us do that. Click that. Yeah. Click it again. And that's our title. Let's see how well it works when you're changing two things at once.
I'm wondering about this.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was going to do that.
Oh, and this field still says song.
Wow. Okay, that got confused in a way that I did not expect. So on line 13, the problem isn't with title. Title is the correct parameter. Why did it stick a this in front of it?
Oh, interesting.
That's a bug, because all we did is rename the parameter to title, and it got that part right. But it stuck a this in front of it, which doesn't exist. That's so weird. If you remove the this from the right side of 13, it should compile and work. Yeah. So if we run our test, it should still work, despite the fact that we've got. Well, actually, I'm not sure. It depends on what it added for the callers.
Oop, not happy.
So let's take a look. What did it mess up? Oh, with the any, it basically.
What? Oh.
Oh, because yeah, I guess any didn't work. We should have just said song. Let's undo this and try it again.
Let's see how far back we have to go.
Well, we just did a commit, so at worst we could just revert back to the commit.
Let me just go do that.
So James, we're working on an app called Song Themes, which is basically a quick summary is find songs that match a theme. And you can watch previous episodes if you want to catch up on our event storming of that and some of our initial test driving. So we're just doing some refactoring right at this moment to create an object that represents a single song. And we're just trying some various automated refactorings to do that. Where are we located? We're in the west coast of the United States. So we're in Pacific time zone, UTC -8. So you must be UTC +4, at least. So the time zone's great for us.
Yes,
but
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Not so good if you're on the other side of UTC.
Yeah.
Do we want to try this again, Suiji's way, or do we want to do it our way, the way we did it before?
Is there a way we think we can pull it off?
Yeah, I think if we change the signature, add the parameter, and then I think when we instead of use any var, just put in a new song. But maybe let's do it in 2 steps. Yeah, let's rename song to title. Let's refactor.
Do that. Nothing else tricky, right?
Right.
Let her rip. Rerun the test.
So that should be fine.
Yep.
And now let's try the change signature of adding the new parameter.
Looks like I have another hover problem to solve. Okay, so here we're going to add song.
Yeah. And the name is song.
Name song. Don't
use any var. I wonder. I mean, we could try it because I wonder if it got confused with the other thing we were trying to do.
You just try this straight up.
Yeah, let's try this straight up. We can quickly undo that.
Yep.
So.
Oh, I'm going to go back.
Yeah, because that definitely didn't do anything, or didn't do what we wanted. So I think we need something there. So let's do it again. Let's add our parameter. For our default value, let's Yeah, so here's where we would define the object that we want inside and push it out. And here we're trying to pull it in from the outside. And I'm not sure. I'm surprised use any var wouldn't work though.
Maybe it's because we were doing two things at once.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if
It's a
that.
cheap experiment to do.
Yeah, do it. Let's see.
Yeah. Oop. Default value
Oh,
is
okay. So we do
missing.
need a default value, even if we say use any var. So I guess I don't understand what use any var does. It says look for the variable of the appropriate type near the method call and pass it to the method. So let's so hit enter on that. Don't hit cancel. Click on.
Oh.
So undo that. Let's change signature. No, let's change signature again.
Okay.
Let's add that parameter, song, and song. And for default value, let's say new song, and then open paren, and let's say theme, comma, title.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, that's not going to work. So let's put two empty strings. So double quote, comma, double quote. And now check use any var. And now it's refactor.
Okay.
I have no idea what it's going to do. So let's
Kept
go
the
find.
original.
Yeah, I mean, that part it's always done, but let's look at the usages.
Right.
So that's interesting. So it worked where, so line 18 there, that's fine. We can just delete the first two entries. Line 22, not so much. There we would have to manually create the thing, but we have the place to put it. Let's just do that. So I don't know that there's a better way to do this, but there's only two places, so it'll be good enough to just manually fix up.
Okay.
So let's fix up 18.
The first one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's gonna be easy.
Yep.
Oh, actually, you know what? Just leave it because it's fine.
Okay.
We'll fix it up because we have to do one more change signature. So undo what you just did because we need the parameters there. So when we delete those first two parameters, it's going to be fine.
Okay.
We want to make 22 such that if we delete the first two parameters, that it's also fine.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So theme.
So what's going to remain is the last parameter, the new song with the currently empty double quotes. So we want to move the theme and the song with theme text over there, right?
Like that.
Yep. I feel like there's a better way to do this, but I need more experimenting. Be careful, you pasted it wrong. So don't paste it with the double quotes.
Oh,
so delete.
right.
Yeah. It's in your buffer. Just paste it again.
Oh.
If you're not sure, hit get what it is on PC. If you do Control-Shift-V, that brings up your clipboard history.
Ah, sweet. I'm gonna write that one down. Let me get my pen. Oh, I'm sitting in front of a computer with a notepad. Why am I getting a pen? Control plus Shift plus V. Looks like a paste buffer.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Let's run just to make sure stuff works, and then we can go ahead and change the signature to get rid of those obsolete parameters.
Yep.
Awesome.
Feel good.
Let's go change signature on the constructor. See, you can do change signature from here. Why can't you do introduce parameter object from the call site? It's the same darn thing. Anyway, let's go do it. I'll complain to IntelliJ separately.
Turn in a defect. Yeah. Okay. So now we just delete these two.
Yep.
Just boldly go.
Hey,
okay.
We've got. Oh, we have. Oh, so we maybe should have done a safe delete. So let's go back to the constructor. Let's cancel out of here because we didn't do the last step. Or did we? No, we didn't, because we actually don't have. So now what do we want to do here?
What do we do? Song.
I think we want to do song dot. Yeah. So you can just hit undo that. Undo again. So if you do song dot, sorry, go back.
Sorry.
Where you were. So if you type song dot, and if you hit tab, it will auto-complete theme for you.
Got it.
And then tab. Yep.
Got it.
So now you can do the safe delete on those.
So delete. Okay.
Yep.
And then again for this one.
Yep.
Alt delete. Rerun the test.
All right.
Cool.
Now let's commit, because we've propagated it all the way down, and we will act in order to make the next test pass. We will probably want to do a prepare refactoring, but this gets us a good portion of the way there. I always misspell propagate every single time. It's like, why isn't it propagate? No, it's propagate.
It's okay, or remove the turtles.
That's fine.
Okay. Cool.
Do
you want to pause for comments in the stream?
There wasn't that much. I'll take one opportunity. Can you delete line 17 on the bottom? It's going to drive me crazy.
Oh yeah, that would drive me crazy too.
It's so funny how, like, different people have different sensitivities to yeah, it's fine, but like I
the one I'm fine with, which I know you aren't, is that would be fine.
Oh no, I don't.
I know you don't like it, so I'm totally fine to go with it. But
certainly,
this would drive me crazy.
Yes, good. Let's see. What do we want to do?
Want to move towards the list next?
Yeah. So I think now we've done a fair amount of preparation. There's probably going to be one more prepare step. Do we want to do that now, or do we want to write the test first? Is really the question.
Right.
While you ponder that, I'll answer this question. So Tukes asks about direction of Java and Spring Boot. Do I like it? Yes. Do I wish it would go faster? Of course. Unlike C#, where they just throw feature after feature after feature in every release and then sometimes regret it, Java takes the point of view of, let's preview it for a little while. Let's bake it a bit more, which does mean Java moves a bit more slowly, but it feels to me, and I'm totally biased, so I could be totally wrong, but it feels to me that when Java does something, and we're talking sort of basically the last 4 or 5 years, they get it generally right. So Java 21 was I think people still, I don't know that people understand how significant of a release it was. The virtual threads virtually do away with reactive programming. You still find use for it in some places where you can actually take advantage of what's called back pressure. If you don't need back pressure, then just let IO block a thread. Threads are extremely cheap now. Spring Boot is complex, but I think they're doing some good things on simplifying some things. But it's one of those where I wish they had even more testable aspects to it. Like they have the new HTTP client, the new JDBC client. I have not played with them enough to see how well they work in a test-driven separation of concerns context. Because I know REST client and stuff like that was hard to deal with. I don't know if the new ones are better, but it's still better than what it was. So there we go. Yeah, some typos I guess we have to live with. But Java 22, it's not going to be as big, but it's got some good stuff in it. It's got some good preview stuff. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. All right. So we've
got a test that takes one song.
Right.
We're moving towards multi-songs. Right?
Yeah. So I think we have to continue refactoring to push towards that. Otherwise, we can't write this test. So let's do it.
Is there a way to push it from this level or no?
We have to start from the test, and the test requires us to be able to add multiple songs. Otherwise, we can't have multiple results.
No, I was just wondering, we're going to test at this level or this level?
Well, we want to write a controller test because we want to write an outside test that's going to fail, and then we're going to go write our inside tests, get that to pass, and then this should pass.
So you think write a new test versus morphing this one? Because originally we were talking about morphing this one into.
Oh, no, I still think we should morph this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But we still have some more work to do because
preparatory work.
We're going to want to pass in not just a single new song, but multiple new songs. I think we can. No, we can't. Not yet. Oh, that's going to be annoying.
What do you think?
So I was thinking we could inline 40 and 41, but now song, it would be still unclear which one's the theme and which one's the title. But can we fix song title to title? Because that's going to bug the heck out of me. We want to rename the actual thing on, so not here. We want to go into song itself and fix it.
Oh, that's the one you meant. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Shift F6.
Yep.
Title.
Yep. And hopefully that did the right thing. Let's run it. Our tests. Yep. And now we can rename 41 to song to just title. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we want var args because we want to be very explicit about what we want. Oh, you're talking about the signature to the create song themes controller that takes var args of the song. Yes, we can absolutely do that. In fact, that's what I was going to do. I'm just trying to figure out a way to not have to have the variables. Well, let's just do it. So let's add another song. So let's do let's put a comma after that. So not there, but
yeah. Here.
There. Let's push that to a new
line. On the same page.
Sorry, you're like on right there, and I'm
it's okay.
letting you do it. Let's add another song. So theme and title.
Just this. Oh, the same theme and title.
No, sorry. You're the song guy. You come up with another song.
Oh, I see.
It should be the same theme.
Okay, same theme but different song.
Yeah.
Got it. I cannot think of one.
Do you have one in your spreadsheet?
Let me see if I have it readily available.
If I had $1 for every time someone said Java was dying, I'd be a rich man. Java is as alive, if not more so, than it has been in quite some time. And there are recent improvements coming in Java 22 that it may even make it easier to learn and get started, which I think are important. All right. I think if we're going to do that, we can inline title above it.
Inline. Or we could just make this another variable. It's up to you. Oh, because
no,
theme is a variable, then
yeah. If we have theme as the variable, then then it has enough documentation to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Convinced.
I'm still not liking it as much, but unless we had some sort of builder, I don't think there's any other way, because one thing Java does not have and is unlikely to get anytime soon are name parameters. That's life. All right. So no option is what we want. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, none of these.
I like how it's like add song as second parameter or add song as first parameter. It's like, thanks, that's not what we want. We want var args. That's a bummer. All right, so we'll have to do it manually. So let's do the least amount that we can get it to compile. So change the song parameter, add 3 dots after the type. Nope. Sorry.
Oh, after the type.
So it'll be song ... Now it'll complain there in line 57. We'll fix that by putting square brackets 0 after it, because song is now an array. Since song is now an array, let's rename it so that it sounds like an array. Rename though.
Yeah. But do you like that name? Is what I was.
Oh, was there
song?
Songs. Was there another choice that is a plural of song?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you don't like song array. That would have not worked.
Oh God, would you even consider that?
No. I was trying to triangulate into what other names
okay.
there were. That was
yeah. So now this is fully backwards compatible. Of course, we're ignoring the second song, but at least now we're a little bit better prepared. Let's run our test, make sure we didn't break anything.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Is there any way I can install the old presentation assistant back onto this machine? I would love to do that.
Well, we can talk offline. Yeah, because you can always install stuff. All right. I think we're going to have to push this var args down. So let's go into create song searcher. Let's make that be ... and then we'll fix 17.
Doing the 0 trick again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then let's rename the variable.
Hello.
Let's run our test just to be sure. All right. I'm going to start kicking you to use the shortcut key to close that window.
Oh yeah, that one's shift Control Shift F12, right?
That's one of them. Yeah, you can use that one. That
Is
one's
there
a good
another?
all. Well, there's one specific for that window, but the all-purpose one is better.
Right.
All right, let's go into the
So
constructor.
what is it? If I hover, will it tell me? Shift
Shift
Escape.
Escape closes the currently open window. It's hide active tool window technically. Let's go into the constructor.
1 second.
Yep.
Hide active tool window. Got it. Okay, go to the constructor.
Yep. Let's do the same trick.
So then
Yep. All right. So now let's so now we need to change the internal structure of actually before we do that, so we've propagated this down, but now we want to have the test fail. So I think we've done enough preparation up at the controller test level that we can now make it fail, and then we'll have to basically have it pay attention to the multiple songs.
this test we're going to change.
Yes. So because what we want now is the test is saying, hey, here are these two songs with the same theme. We now have different expectations.
Right. Oh, am I?
Yep.
Okay. I was driving without instructions.
No, I gave you an instruction.
And actually, what was? Don't tell me. Paste back to Control Shift V. Oh, it's still at the top. Sweet. I don't know where my cursor is. We'll find out. Oh, great. Okay, so now this should fail, and it's going to fail because it doesn't have two, only
Right.
one.
Right.
Unless there's some null pointer exception or something that we're not thinking of.
Yeah, no. Yep.
Nope. Looks like it failed as we expected.
Yep.
Shift Escape.
So Full asks, can we use list instead of vararg? So we could. The problem with going directly to list is it requires a lot more code changes. The varargs makes it very easy to change, but also we don't necessarily always want more than one. So using a list forces everyone to pass in a list regardless of whether there's one or not. We may eventually go to a list, but it's easier on the caller to not have to do that. All right. So we got a test and it's failing for the right reason. I think I'm just wondering, do you want to disable it and do a commit?
So you're thinking we can't, that any changes we make will now cause a second failure. And so we want this one to be quiet for a little bit.
Right. So we've done as much as we can at this layer. There's nothing else we can do. The controller can't fix. We can't fix this in the controller, which means we have to go down a layer into our application, into our song searcher. But in order to make those changes, because right now the only test that's failing is in the adapter.
This one, right? We need to
The
make
core,
one of these fail.
So exactly.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to get into the situation where multiple tests are failing.
Right.
Where it's like, remember, this one shouldn't be failing, or this one's okay to fail.
Right. Okay. Wrong keystroke. Commit, right? You said?
Yes.
What started to introduce? I'm not sure. I would say started to introduce multiple songs, but it's kind of
Yeah.
vague.
Yeah.
It's good enough? Okay. Commit. I'm gonna try a shift escape. Yeah, works for that one too. Sweet.
Yeah, it's whatever the active window was, active tool window. If you had the run and the commit window open, it would only close one of them.
Mm.
So you can
Would it
try that
then?
if you want.
Actually, I'm gonna try that.
If
I'm
you
gonna
hit
do this,
Alt
and
and Alt 4.
oh, okay, I was gonna do that.
Mm.
And if I do it,
There are, even though you don't have them visible, there are numeric shortcuts associated with many of the tool windows. So 0 is for commit, 4 is for run, 9 is for git, 7 is for structure. And I know these because they used to always show the numbers, but now they don't.
oh, they don't.
Nope. You can turn it on, but they, by default, I believe they don't show it. So now if you do Shift Escape.
Yeah, I should just do one of them. Probably the most recent one, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And then if I do it again,
yeah,
nothing.
right, because the active is where the cursor is.
Right.
So you'd have to go back to the commit tool window, and now if you hit Shift Escape, it would close.
Right. Yeah, so it doesn't have a tool window buffer that it's closing. It jumped to where the cursor was.
Yeah, they
I want to
basically
try.
figure if you want to close the window that is not currently active, then just do the hide all windows.
Which is Control Shift F12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So full enough, we're never searching by song. We're always searching by theme. And so the intention is if we search by New Year's theme, we should retrieve 2 songs. So that's our intention, which currently does not work because right now Song Searcher only knows how to hold on to one song. But we'll see but that's basically the next thing we're going to fix.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not going to rant about the new UI. We're not using the new UI, and they will have to pry the old UI from my cold dead hands.
Oh, IntelliJ's new UI.
Yeah. There are a few nice aspects to it, but most of it is, in my opinion, too much copying VS Code. And it's not just my opinion. It's 3 o'clock. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to stop?
I don't mind.
Here?
Keep going.
Okay.
How much longer do you think you want to go? The reason I'm asking it is whether we should take a break and then keep going for a bit.
I don't know that I can predict. I don't have any commitments, but I don't know that I can predict. Do you want to take a quick break and then?
Yeah, let's do
continue?
a 5-minute break and then we'll just see how energy goes. But I'm thinking
good.
we could do at least a half hour.
Okay.
More.
All right.
Cool.
All right. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will force Song Searcher to be able to know about multiple songs. Oops. All right.
Hey,
So we committed. We got our failing outer test, and next time I'll also be more prepared to sort of diagram this. Maybe next time I'll take a little time to even though there's not much there, there is enough there where we can start sort of diagramming what goes where from an architectural standpoint,
sounds good.
and might even refactor to those packages next time.
Right.
So let's add that to Jira.
I don't need zombies anymore. That was
Yeah.
just.
I think you can put that after those items.
Down here, you think?
Yeah. Look, you got an entry right there. Package up according to hexagonal architecture. All right. Let's write our basically application domain test. Now, that method, I'm betting, is a bit unclear because it says songs.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I think it's not plural. Let's look at the implementation of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we came up with that name.
So let's fix that.
I need to change my physical position so I'm getting back support from my chair. There we go. Much better. Okay. Oh, it's the static method. I see.
Right. So let's make it more truthful.
I'm open to ideas. My brain's not.
With one song for theme.
Oh, in that way. Okay.
Yeah. Because it is only creating one song.
Yeah.
And
the width is driving me crazy. Song searcher width. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Never mind.
Yeah, from the calling side, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's go back up to our tests. And I think we're going to need to write another test.
Okay.
So this one will be finds multiple matching songs.
What am I doing wrong?
Alt insert. Alt insert.
Yes.
Which I always thought was such an awkward thing on Windows. It's so much nicer on
a Mac. Yeah.
Because there's no insert key on most Mac keyboards.
So we are. What was the name you said?
So it's basically the same name as we had for the other one, search for theme, and this one is finds multiple matching songs. Oh, I need to up. Sorry, Echostrike. I actually forgot to update my Nightbot to return the right project. What we're currently working on, the code is actually not open source. So sorry about that.
Someday. Maybe.
All right. Do you need direction on how to take it from here?
Oh, sure. No, I'm good. I'm debating whether to. Yeah, I'll just. Not sure I like that though. Create song searcher for the 2 songs. Mhm. Control Shift V.
Right.
This we can
May as well
clone.
grab both parts.
Yeah,
It's
search
gonna
to.
be almost the same thing.
Yeah. Now here it's
Here it's just we're
found
getting the titles.
right, but also we're gonna fix that right now.
Yes.
Found songs. Now will this? We're expecting just the titles.
Right.
Whoops!
Oop,
I didn't do the. Take that out.
Control.
Nope.
Nope. That was not the
Control
latest
Shift
thing you
V.
copied.
Yeah, that's probably why. There we go.
Nope. Try again. Nope. There you go.
If you just
I would
pound
also
on the keyboard enough, you'll eventually get
yeah,
it.
trial and error. I'd split a new line before the
Yeah,
second song. Yeah.
agreed.
All right. So what's our expectation?
It's gonna fail. Assert that it's not gonna. It's only gonna find one song. We hope. Let's see. We did the refactoring. Yeah, everything is based on returning just the first song, and that's it. So I believe that's the case.
Well, yes, we're only going to get the first song, but that's because it's only storing the first song.
Right. Yeah, because it's only dealing with 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So Full Novel says, what about search songs by themes since it can return one song or more? By definition, it can return one song or more. So I feel that we don't need to say song search because the name of the class that we're calling against, and this is where naming is contextual. Naming is always contextual. And so by theme is a method on Song Searcher because Song Searcher is the context, and we're saying by theme because we're going to have other ways to search for songs, but this is the one by theme. All right. Let's fix it.
Okay. Does this have a vararg? It does.
Yes.
So now we're just going to do just enough to make it pass, even though, well, I guess it would be generalizable to 2. Is that all the only place?
I wouldn't go this way. I would just
Okay.
pass songs down without the array reference
Oh.
because that should just work.
Oh, it should
Now,
just
if you
work.
run
Let me
it,
see.
yeah, because songs is basically an array which var args accepts. So this should still fail in the same way.
Right.
But now we're closer to what we want. Yep. And now we can fix this one. Now we have to figure out how do we want to store multiple songs.
Any reason not to do? Well, I guess
What were you going to say? Any reason not to do?
a list. But then I was like, no, we need like a hash map based
Yeah.
off of the.
Yeah. Hash map is probably the most appropriate.
Yeah. So would we? Well, we're refactoring. Well, no, we're failing, so we're not. We're writing new code.
Right. So what we should probably do is we're changing internal implementation, which means that's a refactor, which means we should disable the current test. Sorry. Disable the current test, get back to green, and then refactor.
Really? Disable this test?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you could comment it out, but the problem with commenting stuff
Oh,
out is if we do
no,
any refactorings, they won't
no, I
affect
didn't.
the code.
I didn't mean disabled versus commenting. I was just like, so now, well, that was the only test that failed. So
Yep.
disabling it would then get us back to green.
Right.
Got it.
I mean, you could take the test annotation off also, but that's worse because then you could easily forget about it.
You forget about it. Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question about, will we use a database later on? Yes, we will eventually use a database. Yep.
Yeah.
Remind cassette. Yes, we could call the hash map cassette, but that's probably not.
But Echo Strike, if you want to provide a, create cassette service,
yes,
that mails them to people when they get their song theme playlist.
Somebody was telling me, it's like cassettes are coming back, and I'm like, why?
Oh, they are.
But why? They're like such a terrible format. Like, I can understand vinyl, but like cassettes are such a terrible format. I don't know. They were always so hissy. Anyway, let's make so what we're doing now is we're basically going to make a backwards compatible change. We're going to make a change in the internal structure,
Right.
but everything should still work.
So would I just create the hash map as a field and go from there? Okay. You paused.
No?
Was that a yes?
Yeah, that was a yes. Sorry.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was a yes, but a yes.
No, but.
Okay.
Yes,
final. Final.
Yeah,
Is the
final.
constructor. Yep.
So here you just would declare map. On the left side, you always want to declare as the least.
Oh, right, the least. Right. Yeah. And then would we? Well, for now it's songs.
You need to establish what the keys and value types are.
That's what I was going to ask, whether we do it here. Okay.
So what are we going to search for?
Themes.
Well, right now, what is our type for that?
Song.theme, or would we do a string?
It's a string, yeah.
Okay.
Right now, we don't have any other type for the themes other than string.
Okay.
Now, this one we could do string, and it's just theme to title. I feel like even though we could defer putting song there, I think we may as well just do song.
Yeah, I mean,
we certainly could get away with putting string there, but we have song. We may as well put song there. So go ahead.
Because we're going to put it in there fairly soon.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where my head was at.
Yep. And let's create it. Create a hash map. Yep, that's it.
Well, we didn't do much, but let's run the test for giggles. Okay. So parallel. So because it's multiple.
Well, remember, we just want backwards compatible, so just add the first song.
Okay. Add?
Put.
Put. Actually, I just quickly do it myself. I was about to cut and paste, and I'm like, that's stupid.
You could have just used the
the theme and song.
Yeah, but it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Finish what you're doing.
Yeah, that would have been cleaner, but it's not going to last long anyway.
It's not going to last long. That's why it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So remember, the value is not the title.
Oh, right. We just changed it to song, or not changed it. We configured it to song.
All right, and so now the key part where we actually will want to run the tests is the searcher, the by theme method.
This one.
Yeah. So we're basically going to, in a sense, completely delete this. Oh, I just realized something. That's fine. We'll figure it out. We're no longer just returning the song if it happens to match. Now we want to basically just delete the contents of this method and basically rewrite it.
The whole thing.
Yeah, because it's all based on a structure that we're getting rid of.
Got it. Do we want to keep it for viewing just to make sure we've covered scenarios?
Sure.
It's a bit. You were cringing, I could tell.
Mainly because our tests are the things that define our scenarios. So.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Okay, so the requested theme, but now it's a, let me look at the field. Songs.
So the way we
Just a
find
second.
if something is in the map is we do a
Sorry.
get.
And then it's going to return a stream or?
So and this is what we're going to encounter in a bit. That's not going to work the way it's currently structured. Is it returns the matching song object.
Okay.
So this will work fine for the single song scenario, but once we get to multiple songs, this is not going to work, which is totally fine.
So var?
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
what happened there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, that was fine? Okay.
Yeah.
Song.
Yeah.
We're just needing a return of a list of strings.
So here, the way we're doing it, it turns out song is either going to be the song that was found or it's going to be null. So we could actually just reuse the code that you have commented out and just change the if block.
If song is not null?
Right.
Oh, wait a second. Do we have is? No.
No.
It's old school, right?
Yeah, just not equal null.
I haven't written. Okay. And then we return list of.
So right now, by theme is returning a list of titles. So we're going to have to convert that. And we'll have to think about going forward. Do we want by theme to return a list of string or a list of song? We probably want a list of song. But for now, we want backward compatible.
Right. So here would be the title.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this not feel right?
Because it's pretty darn ugly. But
yeah.
How do we know it's right? We run the tests.
Yeah.
So let's run the tests. So
I think there's some stuff going on with well, it's saying it's getting empty string.
Right. So the functionality we had before, which was not perhaps clearly defined in in our test, was ignoring case.
Oh, right. And we deliberately did make mixed different cases.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Did that actually? Let me look at the run test again.
So from there, we don't know because it's not showing us what we were searching
Ah,
for.
right.
But if we go and look at the test that failed,
Oh, let me go back there.
right? So we see the by theme has uppercase New Year's. The definition of the song is lowercase New Year's.
And it does make sense to make it case insensitive.
Yeah.
So
Astrid is suggesting objects require non-null or else, but that's a guard clause. We don't want a guard clause here. What we want is if we can't find your song theme, that's just no results. So this isn't really a guard clause. It's just if we find no results, we want to do that. And we're going to have to do this a different way once we get to more songs. But for now, how do we make this work?
we'd have to. I'm just trying to figure out where we should.
So previously we were doing the ignore equals ignore case in the by theme method.
Right, it was in here. Should we continue to do it in here? I'm trying to think about that. So we could make this no, because it's ignoring case. It's not necessarily looking for lowercase.
Right, and so we have to think about normalizing how we basically hash our songs, and so we can basically say we'll normalize it by converting it to lowercase.
And then, but here, so that would be.
So we're going to end up having to do it in two places, but for now, just to be backwards compatible, we can add a dot to lowercase right there. Yeah.
That'll get us green.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah. So Astrid, this stuff is going to go away, so I'm not going to be too worried about whether it's concise enough, because this is going to pretty much go away and become a stream-oriented operation. All right. So it passes.
But you still have two disabled tests.
So we've discovered some additional tests that we are now missing. So here we've added the song with lowercase and searched for it by uppercase, but we haven't tested with the song with proper case. Like you wouldn't enter it that way, or it may not be entered that way. And we want to and here's where we might want to introduce a theme value object. But that still feels like we can defer that a little bit.
So we would make another test like this, but switch the casing. I'm not sure if that's the right name. I'm going to move that there for a second. So we would do this and then make this lower.
Well,
or
yes, but we sort of need the the different combinations.
Right. So we need like this combination, then another one where this is lowercase.
Yeah. So I'm thinking this might be a good use. This might be a good use for a parameterized test.
Sounds good. Should we just do that and then get rid of this test? Parameterize the one above.
Oh, did you duplicate it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So let's get rid of
the new one.
The new one and parameterize the previous one.
Got it. What is it again? Is it at param?
So it is, we want at parameterized test. Yeah, that
Okay.
one, which replaces the at test.
Replaces it. Okay.
Yeah. And now what we want is, I just forget how to do it. So we want, oh yeah. So what we want is on a new line after the at parameterized test, we want the value source. So at value source. And in there, we're going to have, oh, but we're going to need pair of arguments, right?
Do we? Because
Well,
the
we're
old
going
lang
to,
syne can stay the same. We don't care about
right.
the
But what we're
song
saying is we
title.
want lowercase New Year's and uppercase search by theme New Year's.
Oh, right.
And then uppercase song, lowercase, and then equivalent. So basically there are 4 different combinations.
So it would be.
So can we do that?
Can you do more than one value source?
Well,
Oh, but they'll be. You can't do them as pairs.
I'm not sure if you can do them as string pairs, is the question. Because we want to actually have 2 at a time. And I don't think you can do that with the value source. I think we have to do the arguments source. Yeah, so we have to do the argument source. So change that value source to arguments source.
Okay. I was just. Whoops. No. I just start over, Rizzi.
Yep. And our argument source is going to be our, I think it's a method name. Let me go get the docs up. Oops. Uh, oh, it has to be a class. Okay. I was thinking if there was another way to do it, but there's not. Okay. Unless there's a better way to do this. Could do it as a CSV source.
Can it be inline CSV, or is that to be coming?
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking I want to do the CSV since it's really straightforward. So let's.
It looks like I just
let's
found
do
this
that.
one.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, that's not what we want. Oh, maybe.
That's actually pretty much what we want. Yeah. I just don't like to support that site because.
Oh. I will hide it.
I find them overwhelmingly littered with ads.
Oh my God, they're just full of ads.
Yeah, for them you definitely need an ad blocker. But yeah, we can use the CSV source, which will actually be compact enough. So let's do that. See, what I never understand is like a lot of that site's stuff is pretty much a regurgitation of the documentation in a number of cases. So I'd rather go to the source and just look at the JUnit guide. So
I
we
know it's
want
funny the
here,
JUnit guide doesn't come up and even the first page of searching, which is kind of annoying.
yeah, but because the way
Yes.
the JUnit docs are structured is one big HTML file, and so it doesn't rank highly in search for any of its pieces
Mm.
because it's too big. Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is the CSV source is basically going to be a bunch of different string values. So you need to surround it with curly braces first.
Like that?
Yep. And then it's going to be, so let's do the first pair, which is both lowercase. And since it's CSV, it's basically just a comma inside the string. So the first value will be our song theme, and the second will be what we search by. So let's actually let's replicate exactly what we've got. So change this right side to match what we got on 31. And now create 2 string parameters for this test method.
I didn't need to select it, did I? Control Alt parameter.
You could do that. Sure. I'm not sure what that's going to do since nobody's actually really calling it, but sure, go ahead. So let's call that song theme. That's actually a great way to do it.
Cool.
Yeah. It sort of pushes it out into nowhere, which is kind of funny. Yeah, introduce parameter on that one, and that will be our search theme or requested theme. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that works too.
That's the parameter that it's taking. So yeah. So
this should pass.
Yeah.
To at least know we got the one version.
Yep.
Working. Okay.
And now we can add the other
comma here.
Yeah, and you can put it on a new line.
Good idea.
And don't try to format align stuff because it's not gonna.
Oh.
When you reformat, it's probably not going to be what you want.
Got it.
So let's change that one to be lowercase. Yeah.
Okay.
Your choice.
Should we do a bunch of them?
Well, let's do it one at a time. This
one
right,
because they're gonna
should still pass, right? Because we're just doing both to lowercase. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Let's add another one. Watch out.
What?
Combo's in the wrong place. So what I'd recommend at this point is putting a new line after the opening curly and a new line before the closing curly. Before the curly.
Oh, I think you said after the curly. Got it.
After the opening curly.
Ah.
And now if you reformat it, it'll look okay.
Was it Control Shift L, I think?
Control Alt L.
I don't know what that performance logging I just started was.
Oh, well. I'm not sure what
That's
you hit.
Really
it wasn't
weird.
It wasn't Control Alt L.
Control Alt L.
There we go.
All
right. So let's add another pair.
Let's see if it's in my buffer or not. It is. Whoops. What do you want to do? Uppercase in this one?
Sure.
And what do you want for the second one?
Wait, let's run the test. So this one will fail.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, when I said I wasn't sure if you wanted this to be upper or lowercase for the second.
Yeah. So that one fails. Yep. Let's add the last combination.
Oh, really? Versus making this one pass?
Yeah, because the next step we do is going to make whatever's failing pass.
So we want uppercase.
Right.
Uppercase. Lower.
And this will also fail. So it's basically failing when the song title that we put into the database is uppercase.
Right.
Because it lowers it converts to lowercase. The right side does not convert to lowercase the left side.
So wait a second. Actually, I'm. So we're saying we're going to convert song titles to lowercase?
No,
No. Okay.
these are not song titles.
Oh, right. These are themes.
Right. And so, yes, we are going to convert the keys to lowercase.
Ah, interesting. I'm not 100% sure I'm good with that, but we don't have to solve that one right now.
Spring has a linked case insensitive map. Yeah, I try not to use Spring stuff unless actively inside of Spring, and we're currently in our domain, and so that means we don't want to use framework stuff here. And so I don't like treating Spring as a library because then it pulls in all sorts of stuff. But it's nice to know it's there.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, so this won't be just a map. This is actually going to be a multi-map. So we're going to have to use a different collection anyway. So what are you not convinced about?
Oh, I think. How do I say this? I'm thinking I would like mixed case at the UI end.
Right. We're not changing the UI. Right. We're not changing the actual. So that'll become clear when we fix this. Let's go fix
Okay.
it. And I think that'll make it clear. So let's go to the song searcher constructor.
Mm.
No worries, Astrid. I'm amazed you lasted this long. So have a happy holiday if you
Wow.
celebrate. Otherwise, have
Yeah.
a happy rest of your weekend.
Yeah. Take care. Thanks for joining. Okay. I must be getting tired too. So we're gonna do.
So you see there on line 17 when we put the song, that's where we convert it to lowercase because that's the key. We never show the key. The key is just used for looking up. Yep. Now I think they'll all pass.
Cool.
Nice. Let's let's commit, and I think this is a good place to stop.
Would we commit? Do you want to undo some of the disabled tests, or do you think?
No, we'll leave those as breadcrumbs for next time.
Okay. What do you want to say for comment? Continue.
Properly handled. Well, we did stuff. We properly handle case insensitive search, theme search.
Cool.
Yeah.
Ship it.
All right.
Sounds good.
So next time, whenever that is, we'll finish converting it to multiple songs. We'll find that this hash map is actually not quite what we need.
Right.
Because it only stores one song per theme. We'll clean up some of the song array stuff that we won't need anymore. We'll get that to work, and then we'll be able to pop back out to the outer level, and that should just work.
Should we update our?
Yes.
Do we need to update anything in here?
Except there's nothing to update.
Anything we want to add, or is it?
I don't think there's anything we want to add at this point. Were you thinking of something?
Nope.
I mean, if you want, we could put up above in the upper section, like 7.5, made search case insensitive, and then check it off.
Oh, sure.
Because we're not supposed to work on a Jira unless we have a Jira. Made theme search.
It's so insensitive. Okay. Did I spell it? Still spell it wrong.
It's just saying usually it's a hyphen.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right.
One more commit.
Sure. You could amend the commit if you want.
Oh. I'm already started.
All right.
Updated Jira. I mean, how can you not want an updated Jira comment? Cool. And I don't know what your schedule is like, but we'll probably do something next week, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay.
So, folks, if you want to continue watching, just follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube. If you want a little bit more advanced notice, it's best if you join the Discord, where you can also ask questions about what we've been doing. So you can find out more information about that at ted.dev. One little question that I missed: are we using reactive web flux and reactive spring? No, there's no need to use that. Especially now with virtual threads in Spring Boot 3.2, you can just use virtual threads. And again, unless you need back pressure, there's no reason to use, very, very little reason to use reactive stuff. Well, thank you, Full Nawful, for your questions and for hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone
everyone.
else for also participating, and Astrid, Neko Strike, and Suiji, and Tukes, and some other new folks. That's it for now. Stay tuned for episode 4. I'll see you then.
Awesome. Yeah. Y'all take care.
Bye, folks.
Bye.